Okay, so now we're going to pivot into some fraud that operates differently from anything we've discussed so far. This category consists of fraud such as lottery scams, prize scams, and employment scams. These fraud scams have been around for a long time. However, these days, many of these scams occur online and via social media. The best way to explain these is probably with some examples. So we'll start with a scam that many people have probably heard of, which is the Nigerian Fraud Scam. This is one of the most well-known fraud scams out there. This scam is actually hundreds of years old, but the version most people are aware of became popular in the 1990s. Back then, the fraud was mostly done via a paper letter received in the mail. The victim would receive a letter from a Nigerian prince or some other high-ranking position. The prince would state that their personal fortune was currently at risk due to war, corruption, or political unrest. They're desperate to get their money out of their country and into safekeeping. And guess where they want to keep their money? In your bank account. Once you provide them with your bank account information, fraud starts to occur. This fraud has taken on many forms, and oftentimes the scammer will use real-life current events. Today, for example, instead of a Nigerian prince, you might receive a message from a Ukrainian businessman. The fraudsters use real-life events to make the fraud sound more believable. Lottery scams operate under the same premise. You'll be informed that you've somehow won a lottery that you've never entered. Then the scammers will ask for your bank account information to send you the payment. Prize scams consist of you winning a cool prize, such as an iPad or a new car. The prize is yours, but you first need to provide them with your bank account information. One twist on these types of scams is that instead of directly asking for your bank account information, the scammers may ask you to send them a payment to handle taxes, shipping, or processing. So before you can collect on your 5 million lottery winnings, you'll need to send them a $500 processing fee. This is similar to how employment scams work. Employment scams target people who are looking for work. Scammers place ads via online, social media, newspapers, etc. They will inform you that you've been hired for a job and ask you for all of your personal information, including bank account info for direct deposit. This can set you up for identity theft and bank fraud. Employment scams also involve asking you to pay them for starter kits, training, or certifications that are useless. Another twist involves the scammers bringing their victim into a fake check scam. This is where you deposit a check from your new employer, and the employer then asks you to send them money back, usually for overpayment. They may also ask you to purchase gift cards with the money. Eventually, the check will bounce, usually after you've already sent the money to the scammer. Your account will be overdrawn, and you now owe this money to the bank. The best way to protect yourself from these types of scams is to ask yourself if it sounds too good to be true. Did you really enter that lottery or drawing for an iPad? You can also do some research. If you were sent a letter and or a check, research some of the information like the company name or bank name. Are they even real? What info can you find out about them online? Like we mentioned before, some of you may be thinking, how could anyone fall for any of this? But the truth is that it happens every day. Remember, scammers target thousands of people every day. You might think that this would never be you, and you may be correct. But what about your parents, your grandparents, or someone else that you love? It's great to educate ourselves, but sometimes it's great to educate those around us as well.